believe has a significant market value and desirability because of its size and location. Now, I don't have any more insight than you do on what may or may not occur, but I think the market forces will play out and see what that turns out from a buyer's perspective, what that would be worth. I have no idea what the value of 72 acres is right now, and I would never know until I look at data, and it's not my job to do that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to perform an appraisal on this because that's not what I'm here to do. I want to hear from the community members how they foresee this being retained in public ownership and then functioning and supporting itself. That's what I'm here to do.
And I'd like to make a couple comments, and then of course we want to hear from you. But a couple of my concerns in looking at the county budget, and that is our primary job as commissioners, is we do not have a Parks and Rec department. We don't have a budget to fund the maintenance of a park that gets the visitation that I know happens on that piece of property. And so one of my concerns is, we need to look at cost benefit analysis and how can, what is a good idea for a park? Could it be turned into a special recreation district for Bailey? And like kind of what the rec center did here, they could form a special district. There may be some ideas that could make this happen, but I don't see that we could find in our budget a staff and money's available to maintain that with the number of visitors that really do use that park.
Well, I think right now, everything that is done at the park is done through a 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
The school district does not spend any money on the park. And you look at it, we spent a bundle of money, and I know two commissioners before it, one was against it, when we purchased the Buttermilk property next to the fairgrounds. We were roundly criticized for spending land and water trust fund money on that until people discovered what we were actually using it for and what it was going to be. And now that is one of the best purchases we've ever had. I think this is the same way. It is a park. It can be used as a park. We have very little land over on that side that we could do something like this with. And as I remind you, 62 to 65% of the people in Park County live on that side. The Land and Water Trust Fund can be used for outdoor recreation. We have done that. That's how we purchased the Buttermilk property. That's how we did a little work in other areas. And it raises roughly $1.5 million or $2.5 million a year. That's taxpayer money that's paid by the citizens of Park County in their taxes. So using that money to do something like this, outdoor recreation, I think is a perfect fit. We have had in the past a lot of trouble spending that money. If you just take a look at the amount, when I first was a commissioner, Wayfair wasn't a decision yet, and we were collecting around $800,000, and we were not spending the entire amount every year. The fund balance was building every year. With the Wayfair decision, we ended up now collecting around $2.5 million a year. And the Wayfair decision is when all of you have to pay taxes on everything you buy through Amazon. That's basically what it is. It changed. Amazon used to be free. All of the stuff that you had shipped used to be free. Well, the Wayfair decision said, no, you tax at the local. So that's when our tax went from not a lot up to $2.5 million. So I think, to me, it is an absolute great use. It is a huge benefit to the people of Park County, especially down my side of the county, where we really did lack good recreational facilities. And I think that and preserving it and not having, someone buy it and then say, okay, now I'm going to buy some augmented water and I'm going to develop it. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in there or do something else with it, which I think would be very bad for the community. As far as the school district buying it, yes, they did buy it. At the time they bought it, Will-O-the-Wisp was still, I mean, that part of the county where Will-O-the-Wisp is, that was subdivision. Houses, they were also gonna have condos, they were gonna have apartment buildings. That was a big development, because at that time, Park County was the fastest growing county by percentage in the state of Colorado. That's why the school district went out and said, hey, we've got to handle this because we're going to have a whole lot more kids. Well, since that time, Park County has aged. And it's not kids that we worry about, it's grandkids coming up to visit. And I know I've had a lot of people when Berlin closed the park. I must have had 50 or 60 emails from people screaming at me because I closed that park. Well, I didn't close the park. They wanted to terminate the lease and we didn't have an option. So I think it's a great use.
Okay,
Let me, you don't have to sell me on the benefit of this, okay, again, I do. I've heard from friends and neighbors down there. I've learned to be a disc golfer. I'm a very bad golfer with the regular way, let alone the disc golfer, and I'm pretty sure I'd be pretty bad at that too, but I hear a lot about the course. You know, we're pretty fortunate, we've got a course down in Lake George that